A few lengths in your local pool seem like hard work to you. Well, imagine swimming miles and miles in freezing cold water.
Damien Baglee is preparing to swim the English Channel. But first, he's warming up on Ullswater. Marty Errington-Dodds reports.
The sun may be out, but it's definitely not swimwear weather in the lakes. But where Damien Baglee's heading, the outside temperature will soon feel positively tropical. 2 years ago, Damien swam one length of Ullswater. Now, just to make it that bit harder, he's aiming to do 2 lengths, and this time he won't be wearing a wetsuit.
Well, I'm at the gym every morning swimming, 4 nights a week, and here most weekends, sort of building up from 20 minutes without my wetsuit to maybe 5 hours in the morning, 5 hours in the afternoon over the summertime.
The lake only gets a few degrees above freezing even in the summertime. Two of his friends stay close during training to make sure he's safe and warm.
Red hot, it's lovely. It's freezing.
He decided to swim Ullswater and then the English Channel after meeting the family of a disabled girl. He's hoping to raise up to £10,000 for Carlisle MenCap.
Well, the money will be used towards a centre for disabled children in Carlisle. There haven't been a residential centre for disabled children in Carlisle now for over 2 years, since the Health Authority closed their centre. And it's our wish to be able to do that ourselves, and it's going to be really important towards that.
Damien will be swimming pier to pier. That's 8 miles each way, a round trip of 16 miles, and he expects it'll take him around 10 hours. Damien will do the Ullswater swim in September and will swim the Channel next year. This is Marty Errington-Dodds reporting.
Now, have you spent your weekend relaxing? Well, there's been no taking it easy for a Cumbrian swimmer, Damien Baglee. He has been swimming the entire length of Ullswater, not once, but twice. That is 16 miles non-stop to raise money for Carlisle MenCap, which supports children and adults with learning disabilities. Well, it's part of his training to swim the English Channel next year. He managed to complete the swim in 9.5 hours, a great achievement. Bet it was cold.
Build a respite centre in Carlisle, which is being welcomed by families of disabled children throughout Cumbria. And Carlisle MenCap want to build the Grace Little Centre to give children and their parents much needed short breaks.
It'll be the only one in the area, and it'll cost £500,000. Now that means some serious fundraising, and as Hannah Lomas reports, supporters are already going to great lengths to raise the cash.
Jamie Cox is a happy teenager who likes playing with his dog and video games. But there are things he's never done, things other teenagers take for granted.
When Jamie was growing up, the one thing he really wanted was just to have a sleepover. Very simple thing, have a sleepover at a friend's house. And we used to have lots of his friends here to stay, but of course as a disabled child he never got asked back.
The new centre will give children like Jamie somewhere to go for a night. It will be named after Grace Little, who left the charity £200,000 in her will.
We've got over 100 families on our books. It'll provide some residential respite for the children so that the mums and dads can have a break. It'll also provide activities that are suitable for people with very profound disabilities and children with learning disabilities.
The plans are complete, and in the next 2 weeks the charity will apply for planning permission. Carlisle MenCap wants to build the centre on this site, which has been donated by the Kingmore Park Industrial Estate. It will have 4 specially adapted bedrooms for the children, as well as sensory rooms and a hydrotherapy room. At the weekend, the first fundraising challenge took place. Damien Baglee swam the length of Ullswater twice, and that's a cool 16 miles. He aims to raise £20,000 and will swim the English Channel next.
Oh yeah, easy, no problem at all. Yeah, it's fine. No, we've got a year for that yet, so a bit more training involved, and so we should be okay.
And with determined supporters like Damien, the charity hopes it won't be long before it reaches its £500,000 target, meaning the centre could be just 2 years away. Hannah Lomas in Carlisle.
And we'll keep you in touch with developments there. Well, there's plenty still ahead.
Back in Windermere 8 months after the Great North Swim that never was.
The cancellation of last year's event was a great disappointment, not just for the swimmers, but also for the tourism industry in the Lake District, which says it lost hundreds of thousands of pounds. The head of the Lakes Hospitality Association was very critical of what happened.
Jonathan Denby says the organisers should publicly say sorry to the businesses that lost money.
We think the event should start this year with a sincere and heartfelt apology for the chaos caused by the cancellation last year, which was, of course, as we found out subsequently, totally unnecessary.
But back at Windermere, the organisers say the safety of swimmers was paramount. The event was cancelled on the advice of experts. They didn't feel the need to apologise.
It was a very difficult time for everyone. We took advice on the water quality results. So blue-green algae is a naturally occurring thing. So it's a bit out of our hands.
And what contingency plans do you have in place now, just in case anything goes wrong?
We've brought the date forward, so historically the blue-green algae is less likely to occur. However, we do have contingency course routes on Windermere here, so we can move things around if there are little patches of algae.
This is how the event normally looks, thousands competing over a mile course. Today some of the competitors were here, including Olympic bronze medalist Cassandra Patton.
The Great North Swim is my favourite of all the 5 swims. The atmosphere, I mean, when it's on the kind of event day, like there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people are like milling around and there's shops and things. So yeah, I'm really, really excited.
Another was a local swimmer getting ready for an even bigger challenge.
I'm doing it as part of preparation for the Channel Swim in August to raise money for Carlisle Mencap, who are building a respite centre for disabled children in Carlisle.
Barring any unforeseen problems, the swim and other races will take place on the weekend of the 17th to 19th of June. Tim Backshall, Windermere.
A ceremony has taken place at Carlisle Mencap's new respite centre for disabled children. The symbolic custom of placing an evergreen branch on top of the roof marks the completion of the structure of the Grace Little Centre, which is being built in the north of the city.
Now, he's played in World Cups and at some of the
who attempted to tackle the English Channel is promising to try again, despite being forced to abandon his attempt.
There was huge disappointment for Damien Baglee, who was trying to swim the 21 miles between Dover and the French coast to raise money for children with disabilities in Carlisle.
Damien had put in hours of training but was thwarted by the rough seas, as Matthew Taylor reports.
After weeks of preparation and training, the moment finally arrives for Damien Baglee, greasing up, ready to take on the chilly seas off Dover, with friends and family to support him at every stroke. But poor weather led to delays, and he was going to have to swim all evening and into the night to have any chance of completing his quest.
We got a phone call to say we had a sort of a spell through the night that we could do. So we decided to go for it through the night, which I've never done before. We set off at 5 o'clock, first 3 hours, brilliant, pace was really good. I think it was 72 strokes a minute I was doing, so the first bit was fine, I felt really good. You know, even into the night, I've never done any night swimming before, so that was a bit of a challenge. And then the sun went behind the cliffs, went into night, and then it just all hell broke loose.
The weather and rough seas finally got the better of his cross-channel attempt.
It was like swimming uphill. I mean, every time I had a stroke I was hitting the waves, so obviously it was taking a lot out of us for 2 hours. I actually lost the boat at one point. I couldn't even see it because the swells were that big. There was a swell in between me and the boat, so I couldn't see it at all. And there was a big crater ship coming down the other side, so it was a bit scary, yeah.
Eventually Damien had to abandon the whole exercise, but he's determined he's not going to let a few waves defeat him for long.
Well, I'll just keep the training up, go for it again next year hopefully, and then we'll see if we can get across.
And the fundraising continues with a party at Brunton Park this weekend in aid of the Grace Little Centre in Carlisle. But for Damien, it's back to the training. Matthew Taylor reporting.
Now to a very special
One get to grips with his first family wedding at the hotel, over at Ullswater, Thomas is having to get to grips with his first open water swim without the Admiral.
Number 6, Thomas Noblet.
That's me, yeah.
Thomas signed up to do an Ullswater swim. And I was like, Tom, I can't do that, mate. It's my cousin's wedding. But now he's gone and found himself a new Admiral. I know the lad who's going in the canoe. I've already told him that he's not wearing my Admiral's hat. He's not wearing my Admiral's outfit. If he wants one, he has to go and buy his own.
Although it's one of the region's most beautiful lakes, Ullswater is also one of the most daunting for open water swimmers, as it's said to be the coldest waters in the whole of the Lake District. As Andrew knows, in conditions like this, the role of the support crew is vital.
I've got to be a pillar of strength for him, and that's what I am. And that's my main role, to be there, support him, and help him through some of these challenges.
So how will Thomas's new right-hand man, Damien Maverick Baglee, measure up?
You know, I could think of better things to do on a Sunday than sit in a canoe for 6 hours, but, you know, he's hard to say no to, really. You are joking, aren't you? Oh my God, this is wrong.
Admiral never says nothing wrong, he just
I didn't sign up for this. This is so wrong.
This is a Brokeback Mountain part.
Get away.
Charles is completing it. I complete everything that I do, so I'm looking quite confident that I will complete this.
I mean, it better add. I'm not going to waste my day canoeing for no reason, so you should do.
We'll be back with Maverick and the Gladiator later, and we'll find out whether Andrew, the wedding manager, can turn himself in. Over at Ullswater, Thomas, the Gladiator Noblet, is competing in the Ullswater long-distance swim. And rowing alongside him is a somewhat reluctant Admiral, Damien Baglee.
Just right home for the last 3 hours, 20 minutes. We're just coming, well, we've gone past halfway now. It's going really well. A bit choppy. Really, really, very, very cold. Arse is killing.
Me's waiting for the return of her Gladiator.
Oh, hello. So happy you're back. Was it
I came fourth out of the men.
Did you? Woohoo! That's quite good.
Out of 5 men, one was doing breaststroke there.
Woohoo! You didn't come last.
How was your swim?
Tough.
How did Maverick do? Better or worse than me?
Different.
That means worse, doesn't it?
And give it back to its rightful owner.
Okay, now we're done.
Over in Penrith, amateur boxer Stephen Sharkey is organising an epic charity white-collar boxing match between the North and South Lake. Having persuaded Thomas Noblet to lead the South Lakes team, he had to find a formidable opponent to lead the North. And I think we can safely say he's found one. Hello, hello, hello. Who have we got here then?
Oh, Mr. Noblet's not going to know what's hitting.
And we join another fish out of water as hotelier Thomas the Gladiator Noblet takes to the road for his latest charity challenge. Over near Penrith in the north of the Lake District, we find Greystoke Castle. This place has a famous literary link as the fictional home of Tarzan. But now there are 24 real-life strongmen in its grounds. Because today it's playing host to a truck pull competition between the North and South Lakes.
Last man over.
In charge of the event is Stephen Sharkey, and it's something very close to his heart. Former amateur boxer Sharkey is a key figure in Penrith, where he runs a local boxing club. His son Tom has recently received the all clear after 3 years of treatment for leukemia, and since Tom's illness, Sharkey has thrown himself into raising money for charity.
Over the years we've raised quite a lot for charities. We've raised money for the